Do you have a good idea of how many political prisoners you're holding?
We don't have political prisoners, nor prisoners of opinion. We are trying to stand against extremists who impose their ideology on the people. Now they are subject to a fair trial, and it may take years, but we have to follow the law.
Mr. President, the organization Human Rights Watch says that there are 60,000 political prisoners that you're holding today as we sit here.
I don't know where they got that figure. I said there are no political prisoners in Egypt. Whenever there is a minority trying to impose their extremist ideology, we have to intervene regardless of their numbers.
They're also the leading political opposition to you. Is that why they have been outlawed?
No. We are only dealing with extreme Islamists who are carrying weapons. We would welcome them to live among the people, but we don't want them to carry weapons and destroy the Egyptian economy.
Mr. President, I've spoken to a number of your countrymen who refuse to call you Mr. President because they say you're a military dictator.
I don't know who you talk to, but 30 million Egyptians took to the streets to reject the ruling regime at the time. It was a must to respond to their will. Secondly, the maintenance of peace after this period required some measures to restore security.
Did you give that order?
Allow me to ask you a question. Are you closely following the situation in Egypt? From where do you get your information? There were thousands of armed people in the sit-in for more than 40 days. We tried every peaceful means to disperse them.
Human Rights Watch issued a report, which you may have seen, describing Rabah, and it says, and I quote, using armored personnel carriers, bulldozers, ground forces, and snipers, police and army personnel attacked the protest encampment with hundreds killed by bullets to their heads, necks, and chests. Was that necessary to the peace and stability of Egypt?
You are calling the Human Rights Watch report a sound statement, which is not true. There were police personnel, and they were trying to open peaceful corridors for the people to go safely to their homes.
You're a military man. You were educated by the U.S. military. Does that sound like proportional force to you?
I don't know how come they had 15 or 16 firearms. I would like to tell the American people the situation on the ground could have destroyed the Egyptian state and caused massive instability, more than could be conceived. Whenever there is an armed confrontation with a big number of people, it's difficult to control the situation and to decide who killed whom.
Would you say that this is the deepest and closest cooperation that you've ever had with Israel?
That is correct. The Air Force sometimes needs to cross to the Israeli side, and that's why we have a wide range of coordination with the Israelis.
It's been estimated there are about 1,000 terrorists in Sinai. With more than $1 billion in U.S. military aid every year, why haven't you wiped them out?
And why hasn't the U.S. eliminated the terrorists in Afghanistan after 17 years and spending $1 trillion?
Why should the American people continue to invest in your government?
They're investing in security and stability in the region. The United States is in charge of security worldwide.
Mr. President, your critics in the United States Congress, critics within the United Nations, say that you are holding tens of thousands of political prisoners, that hundreds of people, unarmed people, have been killed in the streets of Cairo. They claim that you have blood on your hands. How do you explain all of this?
We are dealing with fundamentalists and extremists which caused damage and killed people over these last years. I can't ask Egyptians to forget their rights or the police and civilians who died.